We are joined by Ross Callachan, a seasoned professional footballer in the Scottish game. Ross began his career with Raith Rovers before going on to represent Hearts, St Johnstone, Hamilton, Ross County, and now currently plays with Motherwell. In this episode, Ross shares his experience transitioning from academy football into the professional ranks and the pressures that come along with playing full time. We also dive into one of the biggest challenges he's faced through long-term injuries. Ross opens up about the toll they take, not just on the body, but the mind, and how he's learned to navigate setbacks with resilience and hard work. We also explore Ross's thoughts on life after football and his new career path beyond the pitch. This episode is full of honesty, insight, and lessons from a player who's seen it all, from breakthrough moments to the hardest setbacks. Please welcome Ross. Ross, thanks for joining us.
No problem, mate.
Looking forward to running through your career. The first question I've got for you is, you started your career at Raith Rovers. What was the transition like from academy into the first team?
Good, mate. I really enjoyed it at Raith. Came right through the youth system.
So what age did you go in?
What age did I go in at Raith? 14. So I had, I think it was a year at 15s and then 2 years at 17s. And then if you were good enough, you went 2 years at 19s. And then after that, if you were good enough again, you got your pro contract. Yeah. So that was my kind of journey through there. Aye.
And what age did you make your debut?
I think I was 16 when I made my debut. Aye, I was. It was away to Partick Thistle, last game of the season, I think. So we just chucked a few the sort of young boys on the bench and see how things were going in the game. And then I think we were losing like 3-0, so we were beat. So he just chucked a couple of us on, and I was one of them, lucky enough to get on at the last game of that season. Aye.
And how did you find it?
Brilliant. Aye, I sort of remember it like it was. I was so young, so I was just like used to playing all these youth games with no fans in it, and then getting chucked on in a game against men when I was just a wee boy. It was huge, but it gave me confidence that the manager believed in me at the time, and it was John McGreal. He was brilliant. But aye, it was class. But that was my first start wasn't so good. I actually got sent off for my first time I started the season after.
Was it the year after? So you'd been 17.
The year after I was 17. I had a good pre-season in that, and John liked me, so he started me. I think it was away to Ayr. Was loving it. Was getting on the ball and playing nice passes and that. Next thing the ball came to me, touch tackle, boom, sent off on my first ever start in football, and I was just like that. Couldn't believe it.
What was his reaction like?
I can't imagine. I didn't even look at him when I was walking off the pitch. But touching on that, like I thought, oh my God, I got a chance here to start a game. I'm 17-year-old. I've just been sent off. My career's over before it's even started, type of thing. But it was a learning curve early on. Like I do like a tackle that's been part of who I am as a player in that. But I sort of learned that early on, like kind of going like that was a bad one. So sort of. I learnt a lot for that right away, if you know what I mean.
What was John McGreal like? See,
classmate.
Well, I was going to say, how many young players has he actually brought through, both at his time at Hearts and whatever other clubs he's been at? He gives youth an opportunity.
He does. He's brilliant with young players, and he's probably the most hard-working manager I've ever worked under, and he was my first manager. So lucky enough for us as young players you sort of didn't even realise it. I didn't even realise it at the time, but watching him day to day and the work he put in to the whole club. Yeah. No, even like I'm talking like when I remember him, I was playing under 15s 15s, and you would just look and he'd be watching. He'd just have his cap on and his glasses, like his dark glasses, and he'd be watching on like a Sunday afternoon, whatever. He'd go to make sure he'd go to all the games and that. Yeah. And that's like watching 15-year-old kids play. Do you know what I mean? So, and even as I got older. He used to pick me and Louis Vaughan up. Right. He used to pick us up at Dobbies in the morning and take us in. He used to pick us up at about 7 o'clock in the morning, take us in. And then when like pre-season started, when we got older, I'm talking about his work ethic. Like we'd turn up and we'd turn up for pre-season, getting changed. He'd be in the changing room painting the walls and that. Like it was mad. The stuff like if a job needed done, he would do it. And like probably we were just like, fucking hell, Gaffer's painting the walls, what the fuck? You'd probably get somebody to do that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But just without even noticing it, like just the work ethic, and every detail is so detailed.
I was going to say that was my next question.
Aye.
I've heard in terms of like his prep for games, the detail he goes into is like insane in terms of like video analysis. And
He was doing all that probably before most managers were doing it.
Yeah.
He was way ahead of the curve, I think, in terms of video analysis. Always has his laser pen out, watching games back. He would video games himself. He would sit in the stand and video like our youth games.
Right.
And I'm like, that's, do you know what I mean? No many managers would do that.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of guy he is.
And do you reckon that played a big factor in terms of your career yourself, in terms of work ethic and showing you how things should be done?
100%. I think that he's brushed off on me, like, and obviously gave me my chance in football.
Yeah.
So I owe a lot to John McGlynn. Like he was brilliant for me, especially being young, and I've kept in contact with him over the years. When I was kind of just breaking into the first team, he actually left and went to Hearts.
Right.
And then Grant Murray took over. So I would have liked to proper been a first team player under John McGlynn. It would have been brilliant, but he was brilliant for my youth career and gave me my chance.
Brilliant. So you started becoming a regular in the Raith Rovers team. How long did it take you before you felt actual confident as being a regular?
A while,
starter?
like I'd say it took me a while. I was in and out the team. So when I was breaking in, it was Grant Murray, and he was brilliant. Training and that was class. But I was in and out, and I was quite frustrated because I was having myself massively when I was younger. Like, I don't know. Like,
you sort of need to though, eh?
Oh, 100%. I was probably a bit delusional, thinking I should be playing over these guys and that. And they were good players as well. I was just like, you need to back yourself, and I always did. So I was in and out, probably a bit frustrated in that. Probably, I would always train well in that. I made sure, like, if I was frustrated, I would work even harder type of thing. That's just sort of who I am. Like, I would never chuck it like I'm not playing and go in a mood or that. I just think you get nowhere with that attitude. But nah, I'd probably say it took me a year or two and then I got a start under Grant Murray, and then made sure I done well and sort of then established my place, and then kicked on from there.
And then your move to Hearts, the team you supported growing up, how did that come about?
The season before I went to Hearts, we played them twice in the Cup. We played them once at Starks Park, and I played well. We drew with them, so we got a replay.
Were you buzzing to play against them?
I was buzzing, aye. But I think I'd maybe played against them before because they were in the league. I can't mind the timeline really.
Yeah.
But so I'm pretty sure it was the season before. We played them in the Cup. We drew with them. We done well because obviously everyone expected us to get beat. We done well. Got the replay at Tynecastle, and I was like buzzing. That was a couple of weeks later. Went to Tynecastle. I think it was 1-1 a game. Went to extra time. Played well in the game again. So I was kind of maybe on their radar. I'm not 100% sure, but after the 2 games on their radar, and then our season finished. Nothing happened in the summer. Really went back to Raith pre-season. Got fit. Was doing well pre-season, and then I was just speaking to our season had started like League Cup, and I think maybe our league had started, but the Premiership hadn't started yet because that was starting later.
Right.
And I mind just speaking to Jason Thompson in the gym, and he was like, "Have you heard anything for Hearts?" And I was just like, "What?" He was like, "I think Hearts are going to come in for you." And I was like, straight on the phone to my agent, eh? And I was like, "Have you spoke to Hearts?" He's like, "Nah." I was like, "Well, go and phone them right now." So he phoned them, and right enough, they were coming in for me, but my agent, they hadn't spoke to my agent yet.
Right.
So then it was literally after that, it was within a week, mate. I was signing. But funny thing is, I was at because it was still League Cup at the start of the season. 2 weeks before that, I was at the game. I had the wee man at the game watching Hearts, and then little did I know, 2 weeks later I'd be signing with them. It was mental. I was buzzing, like, because of Hearts fan and that. So I was obviously delighted with the move, and but it just happened so quick.
What was your wee lad's reaction on that? Was he?
Yeah, but he was buzzing at the time,
Aye.
and my whole family were, mate.
And to be proud of you as well.
Like,
with the hard work you put in.
telling my mum. My mum's a psychic, eh? Told my mum, she's like, "Oh, I knew it." That's just what she's like. She's brilliant, honestly. Love her to bits, man. But so she was crying in that. So it was a big thing for my family, like, and obviously a big thing for me as well to sort of, because I think I was ready to kick on.
Yep.
But I didn't expect Hearts. I wasn't expecting Hearts to come in for me, but buzzing they did.
And what was your experience like at Hearts?
it was good, mate. I went in, I hit the ground running. Like, I went in. First game was against Aberdeen at Murrayfield at the time because Tynecastle was getting the new stand.
Yep.
So first game, got man of the match. But I was like, fucking hell, this is class. And then week after, scored my first goal. And then I think 2 weeks after that, scored again. So the first 4 games, I'd scored 2 goals, had a good couple games, and I was like, I'm flying here. And then probably first 8 games I'd done well, and then a couple of games after that wasn't great. And then I was in and out the team, in and out with injury. So, and then the season wasn't what I wanted it to be, but I think I done all right. I think I scored 4 or 5 goals without playing every game and being in and out. So, but I was happy to be there.
Yep.
Even when I wasn't playing or whatever, I still enjoyed it, and it was a massive club. You didn't realise how big these clubs are, Hearts and Hibs in Edinburgh, until you maybe play with them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
was there a big expectation change from going from Raith to Hearts in terms of the demands to win?
To win, especially like home games. Like if you're playing with Hearts, mate, and you're not winning first 15-20 minutes, crowd can sometimes get on your back.
Yeah.
And you knew kind of that was coming if you weren't winning or you hadn't started great. So, but rightly so, a big club, like, they've got high expectations. The fans just want to see the teams playing well and working for the club and winning games in the end. But that's what it was. It was a lot of expectation to go and win games. More than Raith. Yeah.
And did you enjoy that aspect of it?
I liked it. I'd probably enjoy it more now, but when I was going there, I was like, some games you're like,
because what age would you be?
You do feel it. 24 when I signed, or 23.
Yeah.
23 when I signed, just turned 24. But no, I loved it. I loved it.
You touched on injuries there, which I think is something that's not really talked about a lot. Is obviously injuries physically, but more mentally, in terms of the fact how difficult it is coming back and getting through those tough times. What advice would you give young kids that are coming back from long-term injuries?
Coming back, probably, well, I've obviously had a couple myself more recently. Last 2 years probably been the toughest time in my career.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically. So I've probably learnt a lot about myself. But in terms of advice to kids, I'd just say, if you've got a long-term injury, I'd say take each day as it comes.
Yeah.
Don't look too far ahead, because it's like, if you've got like an ACL or a year to 9 months to a year's injury, then every day can sort of feel like the same. You didn't feel like you're getting anywhere. But after a month or two, things do change. Things do get better. You start to see progress, and so just I'd say patience is a big thing with a long-term injury.
In terms of obviously your ACL injury, do you reckon that's been the hardest injury that you've had to overcome? In
terms of like the effect it's had on my body since, it was hard at the time coming back for that. But then after coming back for that, I think I've had like 7 or 8 muscle injuries. I've not been able to get back fully fit. So getting back fit and then getting injured again, and then getting back fit and getting injured again like 7 or 8 times is mentally the toughest thing I've ever had to go through. Like, and I absolutely love football, mate. Like, love it. Ask anyone I've played with or been in their team, like, I'm so enthusiastic. I'm a positive person around the club, but see when you've constantly got these injuries and all you want to do is play football, like doing something you love for so long, and it being taken away from you time and time again, it kills me. And like trying to stay positive through all that, like I've learnt a lot about myself, and I'm quite proud of myself, like in terms of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How you managed to get through it then? What sort of things you do?
First and foremost, I've had good family around me, good friends and good teammates that you see every day that are there for you. So you've got having good people around you is massive, and telling you things are going to get better and that, and just having the conversations with yourself sometimes, because I've had a lot of lonely days in the gym where I'm like,
I was going to say that the hardest part is when all the boys go out to train and you're sitting in the gym, and it's like,
that's tough.
And even if your rehab's like, you've maybe got a bit of bike work or stuff, you're sort of sitting on the bike being like, I want to be out there. Do you know what I mean?
100%. But it is some lonely days in the gym, and you just need to try and stay positive and we'll probably touch on it, but I've had in the last 10 months, 8 months, I've had sort of other focuses outside football.
Yep.
So that's helped as well. But nah, just trying to stay positive through it all was the main thing, and I think I'm like that as a person anyway, so that's been good. But it's no been easy the last couple of years, but
you find the most difficult times sort of make you as a person as well, eh?
I make it a break sort of thing, but hopefully that's me now back fit, back running in the last 2 weeks, so hopefully back training soon, so I'm looking forward to getting back training with the boys and that.
Aye, back at it,
mate, aye.
How important do you reckon a plan is to your rehab? So like, you got guys that obviously Motherwell at the minute that are giving you a tailoring your plan. You just
aye. Oh, that is, so the physios do all that. They'll have like a sort of rough idea when you should be back.
Yeah.
And then they'll have a rehab program for you each day. So you just follow that. That's pretty much what we do.
And is it hard, obviously, you've been driven to try and make sure you're only doing what they're telling you and not pushing yourself too much?
Aye. It is for me, like, and I'm quite gung-ho, like, if they tell me to do something, I'll just go and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sometimes they're like, well,
like
one of the boys, Paul McGinn's like that, I've been injured with him a lot this year, he's the same as me, sort of, just wants to get back fit, and just similar, that's all we want to do is play football. It's quite hard, like, putting the reins on people, but they need to do it, and it's the best for me, best for the club as well.
Protect it from yourself.
Aye.
It's always good as well when you've got other folk that you can do rehab with, as opposed to being isolated by yourself during those times.
Oh, it's much better, but you didn't want anyone injured. But it is much better having lads in the gym with you, and you can have a wee chat with and stuff. It's good.
What's the hardest point to watch? Is it like obviously training
the
or
games?
Games, I was going to say, when you get to matches, because you want to help your teammates.
Just games are tough to watch. Like, I mean, buzzing for the boys if they win.
Yeah.
You're also gutted because you want to be part of it. Raging if they lose because you're like, oh, you feel sorry for them. No sorry, but you're like sad in a way because the team's just got beat. But you're like, oh, I want to play, I want to help. You want to do your job at the end of the day. Football's my job, and nobody able to do it. It's hard, like.
See, right after your injuries, do you still go to the games and watch?
I go to the home games because I'm a wee bit further out.
Yeah.
The physio's, pardon me, the physio's like, you can, because I've been injured a lot
it
this season.
I think as well. See, when you've got a long-term injury, you're going watching the games.
I think that's part of it as well. I think in terms of, he's like, more for your head, he's like, you didn't need to come to every game. He's like, just come to the home. So I've just been going to the home games.
Right.
But nah, always enjoy watching the boys, and I want them to do well, but of course I want to be out there.
Aye.
First and foremost, I want to be playing.
What key skills has a career in sport taught you?
Probably being resilient. You need to have a tough skin because you're going to get a lot of maybe negative shouts towards you, for fans, for managers shouting at you. So just having a tough skin. And
see, modern day football, how much do you get that on social media?
A lot, but you get a lot after bad results. You'll get hurled with abuse, or if you make an individual error, like there'll be always, you see the best players in the world getting slaughtered on Twitter. And
how do you deal with it? Just ignore it, or?
As I've got older, I've just ignored it. But I've not played in the last 2 years really, so I've not really had to worry about all that. But last time I was properly playing was Ross County, and if we had a bad game or that, I wouldn't go on social media. I wouldn't really bother with it, because you're just, it's people's opinion that you can't. People are going to write whatever. Yeah. So if you take everything that somebody writes personally, then you're not going to get anywhere in life, especially when you're a footballer, because you're exposed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're exposed to criticism.
And a lot of the opinions are uneducated and probably don't know.
You didn't. 100%. You don't know who's saying what. So anyone can pick up a phone and write anything online now. Yeah. That's just the world we live in, which, in a sense, it's a shame, but you can't help it. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really take anything personally in terms of all that. So you just need to ignore it and crack on, and that's it.
And you touched on it earlier in terms of hard work. Would you say that's been your biggest strength in terms of making to have the career that you've had?
I'd say so, because I'm not a technically gifted player. I've got better technically as the years have went on, but I'd always say like I'm a hard working, like energetic player, get around the park, box to box midfielder sort of thing. So
die and breathe these days.
Aye, die and breathe. But first and foremost, before every game, I just say to myself, just work your balls off. Just work your balls off. And if I do that, 9 times out of 10, everything else takes care of itself. I'll get on the ball, I'll make passes, I'll get in the box, try and get on the end of crosses, I'll defend, I'll make tackles. Like everything else seems to fall into place when I just say to myself, like, I'm going to work hard today. That's what I've always told myself throughout my career. Just like everyone has the wee conversations with ourselves before games, especially, and that's probably one thing that's stuck with me throughout the years.
Control the controllables.
Yeah, 100%.
You've started another career alongside football. Can you talk us through that?
So I've done a barbering course over the last 8 months. Something that I'd been trying to do for probably about 2 years prior, but I was stuck in Inverness and there wasn't many options.
Right.
So I was speaking to Chris Higgins at the PFA. He was trying to get me sorted out, to be fair, but couldn't get me anything in Inverness. So when I was back home in the summer, he says, we've got this course available, do you want to do it? And I was like, of course. I started watching all these barbering videos on my phone.
Right.
And I was like, right, that's something I want to do. I was doing that for years. Yeah. And I was like, that's something I could see myself doing. So I went on the course, loved it. Just finished about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I learnt loads. I'm happy with the level I'm at just now. So I'm obviously there's loads to learn, but for only doing it for not even a year yet, I'm happy where I'm at and just want to get better. And like I was saying earlier, I just want to keep cutting as many people as I can and just learning loads. I love it.
You'll be popular in the changing room.
Aye. So I've been cutting a few of the lads. Lads have been great. Just let me sort of attack them. But as I'm the more I've done it, they've sort of seen me get better in that. So the lads have been good with the haircuts. Like. And
what do you think you'll do with that going forward?
Well, I started working in my mate's shop.
Right.
On a Monday, so I'm doing that on a Monday. Our day off. So
is it quite nice as well? We change obviously from football.
I just started on Monday there, but so I was a wee bit nervous about because it's also my mate's shop. My mate's been cutting hairs for like 25 years. Right. Obviously knows what he's doing. For my first haircut, I was a wee bit, I know what I was doing in terms of the haircut, but I was like, he's watching me as it. But then once I was doing it, it's fine. So it's a wee bit out of my comfort zone. Kind of the first day in the shop. I'm not doing it to make money or that now. I'm just doing it to get as good as I can. But it was a wee bit, but I loved it. Ticking that first day of the box. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
it'll be great as well if your mate's got all that experience and he's helping you. It'll be perfect for.
And the people working in the shop it's the barbers I've went to for 8 years, so they all know me and I know them. So I'm quite comfortable to starting there. So it's been great.
Oh, brilliant! No, I'm sure it'll go well. Like,
cheers, mate.
What part of your career are you most proud of?
When you say proud, probably I'd probably think of good results. So games. So I think when I was at Raith, we beat Rangers in the cup at Ibrox.
Right.
That was massive. When I was at Hearts, we beat Celtic 4-0. They went on an unbeaten run of like 69 games under Brendan Rodgers. It was unbelievable. Team they had was a joke. And the team we had that day, you're looking at it on paper, you're like, wow, how did they beat them 4-0?
Yeah.
Unreal. So I'm proud of they two games. A few games. But me personally, I don't know. That's a tough question. Like, I was always wanting to play as high as I could. So once I got to the Scottish Prem, I'm proud that I've been able to play that at that level until now.
And for a long period of time
so
as well.
7-8 years in the Prem, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that, I'd say.
I think when you're looking at like consistency and how much hard work it takes to actually get to that level, and then the hard work to stay at that level and maintain and be a regular with a team.
Yeah.
100%, lots to be proud of there.
Aye.
No many players are achieving that. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, I know. I know.
What's it like after a victory? Like you said, when you beat Celtic, were Hearts at home that day?
We were at we played at Tynecastle.
What's that like in terms of you beat Celtic 4-0? What's it like when you walk in the change room after a game like that?
Mate, you're just buzzing. You're just you're a wee bit like, wow, how did that just happen? Just it was because that game specifically, like, because they were so good, mate. And you're just kind of in shock a wee bit. And I mind it like 3-0, game's still going on, there's like 20 minutes left, and I didn't feel safe on the pitch.
Yeah.
I was like, they could come back because they were that good. and all the Hearts fans were doing the Celtic huddle, like sort of taking the mick at them. And I thought, you just better stop that in case they score, because we might crumble here, Ken. But nah, you're just buzzing after like kind of shock results. You're just buzzing, and you take confidence for it as well.
Yeah. Looking back, what advice would you give to a young player starting out?
Starting out, probably,
so say maybe like 13, 14, maybe just entering an academy, same age as what you were.
It's different now, the way football's changing, so it's, I don't know, but I'd probably just say back yourself, like I did. I was sort of, before I went and played with Raith, I was at Rose, but growing up, everyone always asked me like, what are you going to be when you're older?
Yeah.
And I'd say footballer. They'd be like, nah, what are you going to be? And I'd be like, I'm going to be a footballer.
Yeah.
I was so driven. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
There was nothing else, and that was it. I was just so focused on making it as a footballer that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what got me there eventually. And that was probably just by backing myself and working hard at getting fit. I remember one of the first things was when I was like 15, 16, I was like, right, I need to get really fit. Because one man, I can't remember who it was, but he was like, the fitter you are, the better player you are.
Yeah.
And it's so true. If you're no fit, then you get tired quicker, then you start making wrong decisions and stuff. So the fit, like, that stuck with me. So I was like, right, I need to get really fit. And then started getting better and better, and then just started going through the youth, and then eventually made it into the first team.
Yeah. Again, comes down to hard work though, and the
100%.
desire and discipline to actually go and get fit and put in.
100%, aye. Just that, I was just so driven to be a footballer.
See, you touched on that. It's funny, see when I've read the like books about successful entrepreneurs or athletes, they've all said the same thing, that they never had a backup plan.
Aye.
They fully committed on that goal, and they were hitting that regardless of what else was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I look back and I think to myself, like, there's an element that thinks that having that attitude is probably the right one. Like, don't give yourself a backup plan, just go for what you want. Like, don't play it safe.
100%. I think I'm like that with the barbering now. That I know for a fact that's what I'm going to do after football. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
So, well, hopefully I play football for the next 5-6 years, and then I can go into have a sort of smoother transition with barbering. But that's it. Like, that's it for me. So I'm going to give that my all.
Yeah.
Well, I can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's just the way I am. So.
And it's not a bad way to be.
No,
like,
it's not, mate.
Yeah.
No.
I actually think there's an element of me that played it safe too long, where I should have done that. And I think since I've changed that mindset in my own life,
it's mindset.
Mate, generally things have changed massively.
100%. I think mindset's huge. Even me recently, I've had a lot going on in my life, and I think I've sort of flipped a switch where I'm just like, I want to grow as a person.
Yeah.
And I think doing things that scare you, like coming on here for me a year ago or 6 months, I probably would have just said that.
Yeah.
Because things like this scare me a wee bit, but I'm like, why no? You're not going to die.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like starting to get to that stage in my life now when I'm a wee bit older. I'm getting more confidence. Probably doing the barbering as well.
Yeah.
Probably grew in confidence in terms of
a big part of
around people as well.
Yeah, I was going to say social skills.
Social skills, aye.
Like being around people, making them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like not only do you need to be a talented barber, but you also need to be able to get a connection with your clients.
Aye, 100%, aye. But I'm looking forward to kind of growing that for more for after football.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good start I've kind of had, so I'm enjoying it.
Nah, I'm sure it'll go great, like, this one's not written down either, but I'm just going to ask you, what would you say the key skills are of being a good midfielder? So you touched on being box to box. I think, obviously, the way teams set up now, you're getting very few box to box midfielders.
Aye, key skills, it's hard because you've got like different positions in midfield now. Whereas you watched Match of the Day back in the day, it was just your two centre mids and they were box to box, like your Gerrards, your Lampards and that. But football's changed now, so I'd say like your key roles as a midfielder, if you're playing deeper, you need to break up the play, interceptions, keep the ball. If you're an 8 or a 10, I'd say the areas you get on the ball are massive. If you get the ball in certain areas, then you can make forward passes. You can also affect the play going forward, like scoring goals, assists. But every player's different as well.
Yeah.
So it's hard to... But I think what's maybe forgotten about is basics in football. If you do the basics really well in any position, you're giving yourself a good chance to perform well. If you just win your headers, win your tackles, make your passes. If you focus on the basics, 9 times out of 10 you'll have a good game, I think.
No, it's funny. I coach kids, and that's the thing. I say, they master the basics.
Yeah.
And like you said, you need to work hard, and you need to actually compete and want to win your tackles. And I actually find the most successful teams throughout the age groups are the ones that have probably got athletic, aggressive players that can do the basics well.
And attitude as well. Like having a positive and good attitude's massive. Like you can go a long way with that, and body language and that. A few managers have touched on it about like if you give the ball away, and I've been bad for it as well. Like know that one.
Yeah.
But it's like go and get it back. Sort of reactions when you lose it. And I think the first team I seen that were brilliant at that was Barcelona under Pep.
Yeah.
The 5-second rule, they had to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I think obviously Scotland's a bit behind with stuff like that, but like there's more and more you see it more and more now, teams doing it.
See, you touched on mindset. See, in terms of like obviously playing in SPL, etc., are teams heavily into that now? Are they using that sort of resource to try and help players? And
there is, I wouldn't say, maybe some clubs have got like I don't know what they're called, like psychologists, sports psychologists. Some clubs have got them, maybe like the bigger clubs. I think maybe like your top clubs, Man City, Liverpool, they all have people for that. But there is guys out there in that. I've spoke to one before, but some of them help. It just depends on the individual, I think, as well. Maybe where he's at in his career. Is he struggling with different things outside of football and stuff? So I think it can help you, but it's more for the individual. And
how much a factor do you reckon that plays? Obviously, if your head's not right, it's very hard to perform. Whereas if like you said, if you're going in feeling confident and feeling good about yourself, it's way easier to step on a park and be the best version of yourself.
Aye. Also, if things aren't going well outside of football, it can be a sort of escape as well.
Yeah.
So if like, I don't know, if you're going through something off the pitch, training and playing can be massive for you. It can help you, like
a release.
It can be a release.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I think that's all the questions, mate. Jenny, I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to talk us through your career. And I wish you all the best getting back playing and also your new career path.
Thanks very much, Keir. Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it.
Man.